don't want to start doing things on the computer and using the brush tool, and I just don't like the way that looks. But that's just for my own. Some people are able to do it in a way that isn't, that works, but I can't do it, so. I think it's important to see the hand of the artist, so, in some way. Warm in here. I draw every day for the most part, so even if I just sat at the table all day long, which is usually all that happens, so it's kind of ridiculous, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know I'm inking this part. I guess I could just copy that. But I don't know. I used to do all the color separations by hand using overlays for tints to keep like when the just grayed tones of dots that were then printed in color to make the colors. And that's essentially what I do now with the computer. I'm just creating those sort of files on the computer, but I don't draw on the computer. I don't letter on the computer. It's all just drawn at the drawing table. I'm embarrassed to say that I do absolutely everything. In fact, for years now, Fantagraphics never even sees my stuff until it comes back from the printer. That it doesn't even go through them. I communicate directly with the printer and send it to the printer. Even with the Pantheon book, I did every single bit of it myself. So I designed the whole thing. I did all the production work myself and set up all the files and sent it to them. So it's just like a personality defect I have, I think, where I have to control absolutely every aspect of it. But you can see when an artist kind of gives over a little bit of that. I mean, what we're creating are books. We're not just creating stories that are in 2 pieces of cardboard. I mean, it's a complete thing. It should, I think, as an artist, I would want to do everything I could to try to put it all together. I wouldn't want anybody to try to design anything or have anything to do with it because they wouldn't understand what I was going for. So I know that sounds rather dictatorial, but it's, you know. So I went to Hong Kong for the 3rd printing of Jimmy Corrigan because the first 2 I was very unhappy with because the color balance was wrong. There were even sequences which were supposed to happen at night and it wasn't even a sense of darkness. And I very carefully, on most of my pages, I try to balance the colors in such a way that the flesh tone is lighter in most cases than the surrounding colors so that the faces almost kind of glow. I try to be very careful about balancing those things. Sometimes even having a color be as much off as 5% can completely change the emotional feeling of a scene. This is just the other story I'm working on where as I work on it, like I do 2 pages a week, and then here I paste them in to keep track of it also. And see it, whatever develops, so. And then wherever there's a, you know, I say there's a mistake or I'll leave something out or I don't know.
You make only a few changes to the book?
It depends. No, I'm making major changes for this one now because the beginning of this is all completely different now in my brain, so. There's another place I keep notes too, so. A lot of characters, so. These are just the 4 stories that sort of tie the whole thing together. Anyway, that's how I'm wasting my life right now, so. There's nothing to tell, so it's all just sitting at the table.
You still like to draw?
Sure. I think, you know, go back and forth, you know, it's never, I mean, I hated it for a long time and I just sort of tried to figure out how to get back to the point that I was at as a kid when I drew and I enjoyed drawing and I think I'm about as close as I can possibly get for the most part, so. So you just have to draw what you really want to draw and the hard part is figuring out what you want to draw. As a kid, that's not hard, but as an adult, that's a little more complicated, so. To me, drawing comics has something to do with drawing, but when I'm drawing in my sketchbook, I'm drawing. I'm drawing from life. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to represent. And of course, now that I've published some of the pages, I'm kind of worried that I'm going to offend people. Or so lately, I've been waking up just feeling horrible about it, thinking what a stupid mistake it was to print that stuff. It's too painful to look at, so I can't do this. Actually, I really can't. I'm sorry. I'm still conflicted, let's say, about it, I suppose. So, anyway. For my own self, at least, I think comics are one of the most elaborate and I don't know what the word is, potentially expressive mediums are available to a single artist, because you can literally control everything. You can take what's in your mind in a way and put it down on the paper in a way that's more true to yourself than in almost any other medium I can think of. You have all the possible graphic tools at your disposal, from typography to color to composition to expression of line to the rhythm of the story itself, then of course, and the story itself of gesture. Everything is there, and you don't have to answer to anyone. It doesn't require a lot of money, other than basically all it requires is a lot of time and a lot of devotion, and which is probably why a lot of cartoonists were sort of sad, lonely children, because they had a lot of time, because nobody wanted to play with them as children or something like that. So.
Le dessinateur du prochain comics sera Johann Sfar. De lui, on connaît le chat du rabbin, grand vampire ou encore donjon. Son style fantastique et drôle a conquis petits et grands. Il dessine bien, mais il parle bien aussi. Ce philosophe de formation n'a pas sa langue dans sa trousse. Et nous vous